What is going on, my freaky friends? This is your friend King Julian with yet another very special video, and this is a very special one because frankly speaking, I didn't plan this. This is an absolute dream come true. The new 2024 CBR650R is the machine I'm sitting on. This will be a very nostalgic ride because I'll be reminding myself of my beautiful Rosie, my CBR650R 2020 that I lost to a fire. And today this bike was fully booked. I thought I wouldn't get to test ride it, but the gentleman who was supposed to ride it now didn't show up, and so I'm here. And boy is it great. This one is equipped with the brand new Honda technology e-clutch, which is an electronic clutch. Don't confuse it with automatic transmission. This is really only about the clutch. So we have a clutch lever. You can actually use it also manually, just as you would with a standard manual bike, plus a quick shifter. And when you use it manually like this, it overrides the computer controlled clutch. But other than that, you don't have to use it to get the bike moving. You don't have to use it when you stop. You don't have to use it ever, actually. You can behave as if you had no clutch whatsoever. What's also important to mention, compared to DCT, you actually have a gear shifter and you operate it manually. So even though you don't have to use the clutch, what you have to use at all times is the gear shifter. Oh, this is so wonderful! Ah, the CBR. Good. What's different to the bike I owned? This is a new generation and it came with some very important upgrades. What we can see at first glance is the TFT display. It is beautiful. You can see everything you need to see very well. This was my major nitpick when I was reviewing my bike, and here, wow, this is perfect. This is perfect. The suspension is different, but this is, I think this has been updated in 2021. You have Showa, separate function fork, big piston in the front, upside down, 41mm. It works like a charm. Really, compared to my bike that I had, this is a major upgrade. Really, it feels sportier. It sits on the road perfectly. It is not adjustable, as you can see, but I don't mind it personally. This is a road-oriented bike. It is pretty versatile, so you can take it on a track for sure. You can do plenty of things with this bike, but I'll get back to that in a minute. What's important is, yeah, I personally don't mind the suspension being non-adjustable. Now I wanted to talk about the versatility of this bike. So you have the sporty looks, you have the full fairing, while at the same time the ergonomics are so relaxed. It's not as relaxed as the CB650R, which I test rode just before this bike, but for a sports bike this is probably the most relaxed position I've ever experienced. And it's not only my experience from these couple of minutes talking, it's actually my experience from owning this bike and traveling across the country for a full week, loaded, and I felt great. I just never felt cramped up, I never felt any discomfort. The only issue I had back then was I had a backpack fully loaded, including laptop, and that was what caused my discomfort and back pain eventually. But if you took some luggage options for this bike, which I'm sure there are at Honda as usual, then you should be fine. What I feel right away as a plus compared to the CB650R is the wind protection. The windscreen is not very tall, but it is there. You have the fairing, so I can feel wind on my helmet, definitely also on my shoulders, but it's nothing terrible really. This setup I think is good enough for daily commuting even, but generally I would avoid motorways also on this bike. It just isn't fun. And also, as we can see in the whole middleweight Honda segment, this bike is lacking cruise control, so it is not a traveler of course, but still for what it is, in my humble opinion, the most versatile sports bike you can get. Now this is a little boring. I want to overtake people and have a little fun, and I'll tell you why. Because the engine on this bike is a 4-cylinder with 70 kilowatts maximum power output and 63 newton meters of maximum torque. And if you want it to shine really, you need to rev it up quite a bit, and if you want to squeeze out the maximum power output, that would happen at 12,000 rpm. That means this bike is not gonna be for everyone. I had this bike in the city and I had tons of fun with it, of course, because it starts waking up somewhere around 7 to 8,000 rpm, and then it's really fun. But I did a lot of trips. I wanted to do a track day on it, never got to do that unfortunately. I would still love to do that. But if you're purely a city rider and you're respecting the legal limits, then this bike won't be that much fun for you. On the other hand, if you're a beginner rider and you want something with a lot of potential, but very friendly and linear in terms of power delivery, then this bike might be just the shit for you. And now I need to start it. Okay. Well, it's easier with the E-clutch, I can tell you that much, and you get used to it very, very fast. Actually, somehow this feels lighter than the 2020 version I had. It might be the suspension, because this bike is pretty heavy. It weighs 208 kilos if I'm not mistaken, or 207 kilos, which is a lot for a sports bike. People very often criticize it, but as far as my impressions go, I wouldn't say it's this heavy. I wouldn't say it's much heavier than my Aprilia RS660, which is actually some 25 kilos lighter. So great job, Honda. What other features does this bike have? Brakes are great, actually, work like a charm. I've never had any problem with the Nissin brakes. I also want to mention this bike has Bluetooth connectivity, so you can connect your phone to it and play navigation on the display. Just be informed that the navigation is not so sophisticated as you might expect. You see the direction where you should turn, and you see the distance from the maneuver. It won't play you Google Maps on the display. And again, the real question is whether the app works properly, because most of the motorcycle apps really don't. Oh, this bike is on fire. also the seat. It is so much more spacious than on my R660. I really like the seat. So you can really tuck down comfortably. The clip-ons might be a little too high for this very racy, sporty position, but it's not a big problem really. Oh, you see, E-clutch again. Stopped. Don't have to operate the clutch at all. This is fun little technology. Let's check out the battery life. Not very high, but I think it's enough. I don't know what else to talk about. This is very exciting. I love the bike. If I had to choose now between the CB650R and the CBR650R, like, this bike has absolutely great nostalgic value for me. I love it to pieces. And it's very exciting to be in the saddle again. But in terms of handling and weight management, woo! The CB is the star of the day for me today. I would go for the CB. As I said, the weight management is way better on this one. It feels better, it feels more natural, feels lighter, feels more nimble than the CBR I had. And you know that with sports bikes, a little is a lot, so that's really great. But the CB was super light, super agile, really great freaking bike. Okay, I think I talked about it already, but to close this chapter, I want to talk about who should get this bike and who should maybe look for a different alternative. So if you're into sports bikes but you're not planning many track days and you want something versatile to have fun with, then do what I did. Go for the CBR650R. You'll be happy. You'll have a great companion for your everyday biker's life. If you're a beginner, you can still take this bike. It is heavy, but it doesn't feel as heavy, which is really nice. The power delivery, thanks to the 4-cylinder engine, is very linear up until the 7,000 to 8,000 RPM. Then it jumps a little bit, but before you get there, you don't have to worry about anything. This is a very friendly bike, even friendlier with the E-clutch. That's an absolute game changer. Who shouldn't get this bike? Hard to tell. It's really versatile, and I think it can also satisfy people of different heights and weights, thanks to the ergos and the space you have in the saddle. So it's really hard to say who shouldn't ever consider this bike, but if anyone, then it would be a passionate traveler. But other than that, for a sports bike, this is as versatile as it gets. And that's it for this video, my freaky friends. This is crazy! I love it. I'm absolutely blown away by it. Maybe not so much blown away by the design, but you know what? I got used to it, and I kind of like it. It looks even more sharkish than the previous one, which was still, in my humble opinion, to date, the most beautiful front mask ever produced on sports bike. I think nothing beats that, but this is really good as well. Let me know how you like the video. Let me know how you like this bike. If you like my content, please feel free to let me know by pressing that like button or subscribing to the channel. And that's it. We'll finish the ride now.
good old time.
Yeah. Good old times. Dream come true. Thank you, sir. Take good care, my freaky friends, of yourselves, your loved ones. Ride safe, be safe, stay safe. This man looked dangerous. And I'll talk to you in the next one. Cheers, bye bye. Oh yes, oh yes. This is what she likes. Woo! It's so great to refresh my memory and remind myself of how much fun I had with my CBR.